Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt and fix several years of financial misbehaviour. And if that's something you're interested in following along with, please don't forget to stick around and check out the other content that I've created for you on this channel. Now, yesterday I brought you my 2023 financial goals review, and it was a little bit of a check-in in terms of what did I set for myself, what do I maybe need to look at going forward as I potentially plan my 2024 goals, which I have. So I'm going to take you through them. They're on here. And at first I was looking at, do I do long-term, mid-term, short-term, even longer-term, 5-year goals? What I've decided to do for this one is just a 2024 1 year only set of financial goals. Whether I decide to then develop them into a 2 to 5 year plan, I'm not ruling that out, but right now it's taken an awful lot just to go, okay, I think I can kind of commit to this. Or no, I'm fairly not kind of, because that's not really committing to language. I am happy committing to these as a structured set of goals that I can work towards over the next calendar year. And let's go through them. There will be a separate video where I go through the things that I need to get organised and sorted away from finances but are linked to finances. That's going to be a separate video, and that will just allow me a good amount of time to go through these with you without it then being an obsessively long video that I have to record and then get out to you guys. But what I've done, as you can see here, is I've got a 3 to 6 month, 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and 6 to 12 months. And that is just to help me zoom in immediately, then zoom out slightly, and then overall by the end of the year, how is that looking? And of course, there is flexibility and movement within this timeline. If I have a goal which is meant to take place in 3 months, but all of a sudden it slips into 4 months, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. But it's just something for me to look at, bearing in mind my financial situation as it currently stands, what's coming up in January in terms of that enhanced payment, and what things I need to consider. And that is where the life organising stuff's going to come into play as well. But as I said, that's a separate video, because otherwise this one will run to a really long length of time. But what I'm going to be doing, and what the main focus of 2024 really is going to be, is this 5k savings cash envelope binder. And this is one that I've created for myself, as I have said recently and re-shown you guys in a very recent video. Where I have been coming unstuck with what I keep trying to decide to do is feeling like, okay, I need to save X to move, but I feel like I need to save X in case I need to move, and I feel like I need to save this for cat, but what if something happens here? What if something happens there? What then am I going to do if I don't move? How am I going to use this? What's going to happen to that? So rather than kind of spreading myself too thin and basically having lots of incomplete savings things that I'm working towards, and then struggling to give myself permission to actually use them effectively because of the way I am as an individual, I am just going to focus on having £5,000 in savings. And if I need to use those savings for a cat's vet visit or heart appointment, I can. If I need to dip into that 5k to just trying to think of something, put towards the deposit on a new rental property, I can. But this or to use as an emergency fund, for me, it's here. And this is going to basically form the core spine, this binder here, of my savings, and I would say large associated, slightly necessary, sometimes emergency purchases, like a cat's heart scan, like another visit because he's got another blockage. That's £1,000 instantly. If he gets another blockage because he's being silly about going to the toilet and having another crystal build up, that's £1,000 straight away. Just for removal and sedation and clearing of things and meds and all sorts. That's going to come from here. If I do come to the conclusion that I can't stay at my house and it's not really financially feasible for me to work locally at all and everything like that, then actually I need to pay the first month's rent and the first 5 weeks as a deposit. That's what this is going to come from. So that is This is the spine. And we start sorting out that spine pretty quickly. So the first goal is to save a £1,000 worth into this total 5k binder. And I don't yet know whether I'm going to go through and fill this up completely back to front. I may choose to immediately stuff 4 of the £250 envelopes or 5 of the £200 envelopes and get the big ones out of the way. I don't know. I then want to try and pay off £1,000 of my guarantor debt. Now, at the minute, I am intending on making a slightly higher payment in January, which should allow me to do that. I want to purchase annual car insurance because that's going to knock my monthly bills down, and that will also therefore mean that that is cheaper for me overall. It's a saving of about £120 a year average. I want to completely pay off my 3 smallest debts on my debt list at the time of January starting, and I know that my 3 smallest ones are all under £100. What that's going to do is that's going to kickstart that debt, re-kickstart that debt snowball again in a really manageable way, give me some immediate instant wins, while I make sure that actually I immediately start putting headway into this. I'm going to fully fund a birthday sinking fund, which will be the first time that I've ever been able to do that. And that is because I don't intend on taking any holidays or any breaks or any significant purchases for myself. When I say that, if I have to buy a £40 book for teaching, that is going to be something that's going to come out of my student loan. That is very much part of that purpose. If I need to buy any teaching supplies or equipment or anything like that, that is what is going to come out of that payment. That is really what it's there for. And therefore, if I want to buy myself something big for my birthday, that's not a tech replacement, which is a necessary thing because I didn't buy any unnecessary tech back in September, that's what that's going to come to. And I'm going to restart a form of the business that I used to run. And that is the focus within the first 3 months will be making up any stock that I have cut and ready to go and starting to get those listed. Hello cats. Hello. And starting to look at any, for goodness sake, starting to look at what I can list, what's a good kind of biting point in terms of pricing, what's popular, what's not. And that tiptoes into, which is why I've got the dotted line here. So there is a certain degree of separation beyond the obvious fact that it's now 6 months, but the business does feed into paying off 2 of the smallest debts on my list, paying £1,500 off of a further £1,500 off of the guarantor debt. So in 6 months' time, by the June, I want to have paid off another £2,500 from my guarantor. And I want to have paid another £3,000 into the £5,000 binder total. So I want to try and fund. Hi. What are you doing? Okay. I want to try and use the student loan payments that I've got coming in, the bulk of them, to get the majority of this done. And again, that is because after 6 months, when I have finished teacher training, technically 7 months because I finish I do finish at the end of June. So after 6 months, I will, at the point of recording, I don't know fully where I will be working. I don't know at all where I'll be working. Therefore, I don't know where I'll be living, and therefore I don't know what my associated cost of living will be, whether it's going to be higher, less, or about the same. So I want to completely fund. That's why I want to get the bulk of this funded and sorted within that period. Restarting the business and getting that additional income in is going to help. At this point in time, I am not going to commit to, I definitely want the business to generate me X amount per month because I haven't yet done that maths. This one has obviously increased his costs per month quite significantly. He's not done anything by halves in terms of how much he's increased his budget. Obviously, I want to continue making payments to my debt in terms of both the guarantor and then my consumer debt. If I need to, and I've obviously got to cover my monthly bills as well. And that's without any kind of extra savings or anything that I would like to try and do. I can't really sit here and say, primarily because of this bundle of fluff here, that my goal for 2024 is to completely pay off my debt. It is something that I had in the back of my mind before this one got sick, that it could have been a feasibility, but he is, when something jumps from £60 a month pretty regularly to anywhere from 230 to 300, and again it changes, and I'm still not 100% sure of those costs as well, that extra 240 potentially is the worst case scenario, has got to come from somewhere, and at the minute it's coming from the extras that I was putting towards my debt. That is because the business in its kind of new form is not up and running, and that is impacting slightly on what I am going to generate as a target for that. So I've not on this generated and gone, I want to earn X a month extra in extra income. I don't quite know yet how that's going to look like, but it is going to need to feed it. 6 to 12 months, so from June 2024 onwards to December 2024, I want to maintain the 5k binder. And what I mean by maintain is that I would like to always have a floating balance of £5,000 in here. If I need to take out £625 for a heart scan for him, I then need to retop this back up. If I pay to move house and cover moving fees and anything like that, then if I have done that and it has resulted in cheaper rent, then the difference in what I was paying to what I am then theoretically paying needs to go in and retop this back up. So as much as possible, I need to maintain this, because with his health and my history of just life not going my way, aka November, I feel like £1,000, the insurance claim for him alone for 5 days was £3,897.87. So a £1,000 emergency fund isn't going to cut it. And yes, that's all I want to say there, because he is now not going to be covered either for his pre-existing conditions. So and then, you know, renting isn't secure, and it would be really good to make sure that actually if I can only stay in a place for a year, because that's all I can get from a contract perspective, then actually I'm ready to go, and I don't have the continual at the back of my mind, which I do have at the minute and have had every day since June the 17th of this year, is okay, I've potentially only got a year left in the house. And it is something I think about every single day. And I've done a couple of videos on it, and it's not great. But within that in mind, providing that everything goes well in terms of generating extra income from the business, we settle at the point where he is regularly priced every month and everything is hunky-dory. I want to reduce the guarantor debt down to a balance of 1,000. Now, this is quite an ambitious task, but I do think that it could happen, touch wood, providing I obviously dot my I's, cross my T's, and keep all of my ducks in a row. Fully fund Christmas 2024. I don't know if I'm going to buy presents as I go in the same way that I have this year, and at the point of recording I haven't yet fully costed up how much Christmas next year is going to cost me. A large amount of that will be determined by if I am moving away and I want to travel back to spend Christmas in family. I would need to factor in the costs to do that in terms of additional fuel and travel, and also if he needs to go into some form of special category or anything like that, that would need to be factored in as a cost. So I will work out those costs probably March, April time. By that point I'll have a greater idea of where I am living, and I want to pay off the next 4 smallest debts on the list, whatever they are at the point of recording. I don't know what those are going to be, but that should then mean that my consumer debt is down to probably 1 or 2 of the final larger ones, and all being well then the smaller ones should be cleared. But as I say, that's a long time away in a money month or a money year, but it is something that I'm just keeping my eye on. I will continue to use the small change like I have been to chunk down the debts again and make extra payments outside of any snowball. There are a couple of my debtors where I can't do that. I have to stick to the minimum payment plan that I've set up, or I pay them all off in full completely. This doesn't factor in any income that I get from YouTube, because I don't know the rate at which I'll be able to maintain videos. Obviously, the way YouTube works generally is the more videos you release, the more views and ad revenue you generate. I don't know outside of Budgetmas or Vlogmas, or I think I tried to do a video a day in my birthday month in March. I don't know if that's maintainable and if that's feasible, and I will of course need to make sure that my efforts are being directed, if I have spare time, and if not, I'll find spare time into getting the business going as some form of a more consistent monthly stream of income. I will do a separate video on what I'm going to do there, how I'm going to try and get it to work, why I have chosen to restart my business rather than go and look for a form of more structured contracted employment. That's a separate video. This one's already up to 16 minutes and 3 seconds. So let's not let them run too long. There's plenty of time in Budgetmas to get that video out. But can I have my piece of paper back? This is my current financial goals for 2024. Now, I will review these every 3 months and just check in, and we'll see how they go. You will see that. And also I will try and make sure that when I'm doing my monthly budgeting goals, I refer to these as well. So if at any point in January, when I'm setting up January's numbers and I do that video, if any point you see a budgeting goal which does not seem to relate to my monthly goal, please do just prompt me in the comments below, because it's highly likely that I would have probably forgotten. On that note though, I am going to sign off for the night. I'm going to try and have an early night because I have something that's known as an evidence bundle, which is a 20 slide presentation to pull together for midnight on Friday, and then a 1.5 to 2 hour verbal review of it with the head of my scheme for my teacher training. And this is the roundup of my assessed learning and assessed training, so to speak, that I've been implementing since September. So I've been working on that and I'm quite tired, so I'm going to go have an early night so I can kind of put the finishing touches to that tomorrow. So on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you have a fantastic budgeting day, month, week, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye bye for now.